Welcome back to Sinisterum. Today, my name is Caleb Garza. I'm joined, as always, by my brother Josh and my dad, our dad, not just my dad. Unless there's something that I don't know. No, just kidding.
I'm your father, both of you.
All right. Cut to the Jerry Springer clip.
So I'm guessing you're not the father.
Guess so.
All right. So we're going to talk just a little bit about today, some crazy news stories. And then Josh sent me one that we're going to end with that I think is pretty insane. So I'm going to kick this off. There's one in particular that I wanted to talk about that I found. And this is, when did this happen? Pretty recently, January 6th is when this came out. It says a Detroit suburb agrees to a $3.25 million settlement in the case of a woman found alive in a body bag. So that's like my worst fear is like passing out or something and like people thinking I'm dead. Not my worst fear, but it's one of my worst fears. And then like either like dying after I'm already pronounced dead, or like being buried alive.
A nightmare.
Oh, you know what? Okay, let's go into this first, and then I will talk about what I was going to say. So, this is really sad. Actually, there's the Southfield in Detroit. The Southfield paramedics were accused of gross negligence in how they responded to Tymisha Beaucamp after a 911 call in. Oh, this is back in 2020, but they're just talking about it again because I guess it took that long to legislate.
Huh.
But she was a 20-year-old with cerebral palsy. She was eventually rushed to a hospital and died 2 months later. So, she was struggling to breathe. Their family called 911. A medical crew tried to resuscitate her, also consulted a doctor who declared her, oh my gosh, he declared her dead over the phone without going to the home.
What?
Oh my gosh.
That's insane.
That's
But it makes you, so we live in a time right now where
you're
like
dead to me. You're dead to me.
Yeah. We live in a time right now where like teledoc is getting really popular. And that's good for, I mean, I've used teledoc before when I have like a cold or something, or like I got one time antibiotics because I thought I had strep. And so I was like, I don't want to go into the doctor for this, but I didn't think I should probably take some antibiotics. And so it's good for that. It's really cheap. But I mean, should you really pronounce someone dead like over the phone? No.
that reminds me of in Powell, my in-law is a doctor, and he told me that they don't officially do autopsies in Powell. So
Ever.
So if you want to get away with murder, just kidding.
Do it out.
Hey,
What the heck?
let's
that
take
true?
a family vacation to Powell, Wyoming.
Well, there's been several cases in Powell where someone really young will just die and they won't do an autopsy for some reason. So I don't know why.
What the heck?
I think maybe it's because it's too expensive. I don't know.
I've never heard of such a thing.
That seems awful sketchy to me.
I know.
You know what this reminds me of is back in like the 18th and 19th centuries, they used to attach bells to the outsides of coffins with strings. And so a string would come down into the coffin.
Right.
Just in case somebody was buried alive accidentally. And so they would ring the string or use the string to ring the bell. And then, and they would also have like air tubes just so they could breathe. And then they would like, because a lot of times they didn't have like super modern medicine. So they might be burying somebody alive and they didn't know that. So I am pretty sure, don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure that's where the phrase "saved by the bell" came from. I think I read that. But like, can you imagine that being buried alive? You're like scratching at the wood above you, 6 feet underground, and you just have to hope somebody hears the bell. I mean, at least you have that. But
Yeah.
I've seen too many horror movies where people are buried alive.
And can you imagine being that one guy, the caretaker of the cemetery or whatever, and you have to be around, and all of a sudden you hear a little tinkling of a bell,
Oh my gosh!
or you hear a really
Yeah,
faint,
that would be.
or a real faint scream coming out of a tube from the ground or whatever, Wouldn't that just freak you out?
Speaking
Yeah,
of
what if,
being buried alive, Caleb, haven't you experienced where real world zombies come from in Haiti?
I
yeah,
was gonna
I mean,
say,
I've been to Haiti. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, you should explain what that is.
didn't they
Oh, yeah.
kind of give him some kind of serum or something with poison or something
Yeah.
to make him?
Yeah. So it's not like people are actually coming back from the dead, but they have these like, yeah, they give them this. Let me see if I can find what it is real quick.
It's a witch doctor.
Yeah. So the witch, what do they call them?
Shaman? Shaman?
It's either, I think it's a witch doctor. I mean, witch doctor, shaman, kind of the same thing. But
Yeah.
so basically, what they do is part of this voodoo ritual. It's part of voodoo culture, which is what happens. But they give them these like hallucinogenic, um, it's like a concoction that they make, and I'm not sure what all's in it. I was trying to look it up real quick, but uh, it says uh, often it's a concoction containing hallucinogens like datura plus human remains.
What?
That's disgusting. But they'll give them this stuff, and then they'll appear like they're dead, and then they'll like bury them, if I remember right. And then
Mm.
they'll like, I can't remember if they bury them, I guess, but then they will kind of like appear like they're reanimated. Well, basically, what it does is it messes with their mind and like gives them brain damage, so they appear like mindless. They appear like they are like a zombie would, like and like, because they've been given this particular drug or concoction of drugs that like ruins their mind essentially. And so then they kind of force them, some people will force them into like labor and stuff like that. So it's really a, a horrible thing. But I remember I watched a documentary actually on it way back in the day. I think Vice put it out when they used to do decent documentaries. But yeah, it's pretty dark. And I guess I don't know. I assume that some of that stuff still goes on, but I remember when we were in Haiti, one of the missionaries that was a full-time missionary down there was telling me a story about one time he was driving up there's these mountain villages that they'll go up to and preach the gospel and stuff, but he was driving, and they have this big dump truck that we would ride in to go up there. But he was driving up, and all of a sudden, this little kid, like 5 or 6, runs out of the bushes into the road,
Oh.
and he's like foaming at the mouth and like is clearly under some sort of, I don't know what it is, but part of a voodoo ritual. And then he like, I can't remember if the guy got out and got to talk to him, but I think if I remember correctly, he looked at the guy for a second and then he ran off into the woods and he never saw him again. But like, what a terrifying thing. I remember I think it was the second time that we were in Haiti, they were just getting ready to have like their huge festival of the year where everybody will, I think, come to Haiti because that's the epicenter of voodoo. And it was like, I think it was around Halloween or something. But man, they would just all converge and have all this voodoo stuff, which is super dark and
Demonic.
twisted stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
So, if you ever have wondered where zombies originate, don't take a trip to Haiti because you might find out for
Yeah.
yourself.
And I'll see if I can find that old documentary and maybe put it in the description of the video, because it's an interesting watch, but also pretty terrifying. But
Wow.
yeah, poor girl though. I mean, has cerebral palsy. She looks like a sweet girl in this picture. I don't have it to show you guys, but can you imagine? Like, as a dad now, I'm like, man, I don't know. I already distrust a lot of people. I think a lot of us do now because of COVID and all that kind of thing. But man, I'd be getting a doctor or somebody out to the scene to be like, man, is my daughter actually dead or what? Because I'm sure that, it says she went back and died 2 months later after this happened. I'm thinking there had to be some sort of thing. Like, I don't know how long she was in the body bag, but man, you can't necessarily, I mean, those things are designed to keep in fumes, I'm assuming. So
She must have had some
she had to receive some some brain damage or something being there that long.
Some very faint breathing or something that couldn't be detected or something. And
Yeah.
then,
Had to be some medical issue, but yeah. So that was one of the stories I wanted to talk about because it's a sad deal, but I guess good for the family for getting that big of a settlement. I mean, I would hope that somebody, yeah, I don't know, that needs to be made right as much as possible, obviously. So, all right, let's kick it to Dad. What's one of your stories that you found?
How about this one? This was called The Hitchhiking Cat. An 8-year-old cat named Ray Ray, and this happened not too long ago this month, survived a 100-mile trip on top of his family's van, clinging to luggage between Kittanning, and there's a name for you for a cat, Kittanning, Pennsylvania, and Keene, New Hampshire. The cat was completely unfazed and later joined his owners at a marathon and in Times Square in New York City. So yeah, an 8-year-old cat survived a 100-mile trip, and so clinging. So that must have been
He was on a car,
on top.
on the top of a car.
On top, like I don't know if there was a luggage rack or something on top, and so yeah, that hitchhiking cat, and so I must have loved his family. I don't know if it must have jumped up there while they were leaving their house. Maybe someone else was supposed to take care of that cat while they were away, and I'm sure the person that was left responsible to feed the cat or whatever was just devastated that, yeah, what happened to their cat? But yeah, 100-mile trip. That's quite a distance clinging to the top of a car. But
Yeah.
and I don't know why I thought about this, but I remember National Lampoon's Vacation, the movie with Chevy Chase and everything. They had a dog, and I think it was the grandma or aunt's dog. I can't remember. He had it hooked to the bumper on a leash, and then he takes off driving and forgets. He gets pulled over by a cop, and the cop is like, "You are such a filthy, wretched person. How could you?" And Chevy Chase is like, "Well, what?" And then he again realizes that the dog had been dragged to death back behind the family truckster.
If I wasn't in uniform, I'd split your skull with the butt of this revolver faster than you could say police brutality.
Well, officer, whatever it is I've done, I'm sure I can explain.
Explain this, you son of a bitch.
Oh, my God.
Well, at least good old Buzzer never hopped on your car because you'd probably get 1 mile per gallon.
Oh my goodness!
Weight
And put a big old dent in the roof with all the weight.
Rest in peace, Buzzer.
Yeah, rest in peace, Buzzer. I don't know. You folks out there don't know who Buzzer was, but Buzzer was our old barn cat in Wyoming. And then we brought him to South Dakota, and he always liked to live with the chickens and even had a box where the chickens were supposed to lay their eggs. But he took over a box. And there's even an old picture that my son Caleb here took where he's right by an orange pumpkin when he was an orange tabby, and he was about as big and round as one of those big orange pumpkins. But yeah, rest in peace, Buzzer. You filthy animal.
Dang boy. Dang boy. He's thick. That's a thick boy.
Well, at least he didn't die by being dragged behind your truck.
Yeah.
God.
But I do know, I have to choose my words wisely on this because you guys know the guy too, and I'm not even going to say what profession. Hooked a calf to the back of his truck, a calf to the back of his truck, and forgot it back there. And same thing happened, just like with that dog.
Forgot it? I don't. Do I know this person?
You do.
I don't. You'll have to tell me off air who that was.
I will.
I don't remember that one.
Yeah,
My old
off the record.
My old boss was driving home one day, and he saw his dog laying in the middle of the road, lifeless, not even breathing. Actually, he was breathing a little bit, and he got out and figured he probably should finish the job. So he grabbed his pipe wrench and finished the job, and then he went home and was inside for a while, and then he came back outside, and his dog was actually on the porch just looking at him, just smiling. Turns out the dog was just taking a nap on the road.
Oh my god.
My gosh.
So he was like beat to heck, just looking up at him.
Yeah.
And
Oh
he
my God.
lived through the pipe wrench?
Yep.
Oh my god. Yeah, thanks for the
What
headache.
was the
Yeah.
what was the dog's
Oh,
name?
my
Bad Luck
goodness.
Brian.
That's like crying. I don't know.
Jeez. But
Oh,
I would have felt
At least
you'd
it
feel so
survived.
horrible.
hey, remember Puff
That's
Young
horrible.
Kim?
No, I remember.
Remember, he was a big Siamese cat that got hit like twice. And came
I
back.
forgot that we added the young Kim onto
Puff, yeah, and then he had that big old snaggle tooth that came out of his bottom jaw, and that was like after the second time he was hitting the road.
Yeah, I do. I do remember that.
Puff Young
Oh
Kim.
my gosh, that's horrible. I thought that this was going to be like Homeward Bound, like they traveled, like the family moved and forgot him or something, but
Nope.
I was not anticipating him taking a ride on the car. That's funny.
Yeah, and then they took him to a marathon, and then to Times Square. So it's like, I guess if the cat is with him, might as well. Don't want to spoil the family vacation, but that'd be kind of cool to
Yeah.
pull down your luggage, whatever, and he's caught in between there. That's a long way.
Oh,
Good
man.
night.
Well, I had one, but I'm looking at it and it's not that cool.
Well, how about this one? Okay, and you've seen a lot of things that the FBI have been doing lately, and I tell you what, it seems like the U.S. is in turmoil over, I don't know, ICE agents and FBI agents and all the stuff that's going on in the government. But it seems like they'd be, having better use of their time. But here's a goofy headline. It's called the $400,000 lobster heist. You heard that right. We're talking about the sea creatures that you crack them open and they taste good with butter. Anyway, the FBI is investigating the disappearance of a $400,000 shipment of lobsters intended for Costco stores in Illinois, and in recent news, the other state is Minnesota, which went missing between a warehouse in Taunton, I think that's how you say it, Massachusetts, and its destination. So here's a $400,000 shipment. Now, how much does it cost to buy lobster, maybe steak and lobster, in a steakhouse? Would it be about $30 maybe or more?
Yeah,
$40?
30, 40 probably.
So take that. I don't know, it's probably less than that per lobster because they want to make money off of it in the restaurant. But $400,000 of lobsters disappeared. Now, you tell me, where did they go? And I can.
Do you know the answer where they went?
Well, I don't know the answer, and it doesn't say, because that's what the FBI is looking into. Again, it's a very important mission for FBI to find out what happened to the $400,000 shipment of lobsters. But you think about, were they packed on ice or were they in tanks of water and still alive? I don't know, but how in the world did they hide that and everything? And I'm wondering, I know it's got to be something to do with Minnesota and the fraud going on there. So it's lobster fraud.
They're in the leering centers.
Yeah, it's lobster fraud. But wouldn't that be something if, like, especially if they were live lobsters, if they,
The Great Escape,
put them in one of the Great Lakes? Can they survive in fresh water?
I think they'd probably die. I don't know.
Maybe, I don't know.
Who
But
knows?
anyway, the massive disappearance, it's almost it's not $500,000. It's 100,000 short, but yeah, so that's kind of a goofy thing that happened in the news.
Where was that at?
Well, it came from Massachusetts, and all that lobster was supposed to go to Costco stores in Illinois and Minnesota. And so I don't know.
That's wild.
Yeah. But to have the FBI actually involved with something like that, don't they have better stuff to do? I don't know.
Sounds like a
I
cover up
mean,
to me.
yeah, for
I
sure.
mean, aren't they supposed to be working on things like the Epstein files and stuff like that?
Yeah, they're supposed to. Maybe they just intercepted it and gave it to had a big fancy dinner for all the Epstein clients and gave them all a bunch of lobster because they're just laughing and at the American people because they don't really care anyways.
Which is probably going to be pointed right back to Minnesota with all the fraud. So there's a weird triangle there.
Well, although I assume that the lobsters have something to do with the Epstein files, I can't be for certain. But I know that I did find a meme the other day that said, back in my day, you could go to Walmart at 2 a.m. and buy a rifle and a live lobster.
Nice.
And those were the good old days. I remember going and you could check out the live lobsters in the middle of the meat section.
Yes.
And that was pretty cool.
And the little rubber bands around their pinchers. Everything. Hey, what was the name of that lobster on SpongeBob?
Larry.
Larry.
Yeah.
Larry the lobster.
He's the beefcake.
That's right. On the underwater beach.
That's probably how they escaped.
That's probably, yeah, they're probably all Larry freaking led the revolution. Good job, Larry. Yeah, you can still buy rifles at our South Dakota Walmart. Praise the Lord.
Yeah.
We still live in one of the freest states in the nation. All right.
Free states in the nation.
All right. Do you have one more? I think we have one more before we tackle the disgusting one that Josh sent me.
Okay, so you know how like you've seen like and I can't tell you if this is Salvation Army, but you know how like the bell ringer, and then you walk by and they have a little stand that you deposit money in,
Yeah.
and they say thank you, thank you, whatever, and then they keep ringing their bell. Well, kind of picture something like that, but there was a charity kettle attack. Okay, so the kettle would take the money, or you deposit the money in there. There was a charity kettle attack where a volunteer in Florida was arrested. Okay, so this was the charity volunteer in Florida. This person was arrested after becoming intoxicated. Listen to this, during charity work and attempting to attack a store manager with a donation kettle tripod. So the tripod that holds up this kettle where the money goes in. Apparently, this person, if they had a bell in their hand, was getting sick and tired of ringing the bell over and over. He decided that he was going to have some whiskey, a little bit too much whiskey, and got intoxicated. Store manager, I can just picture, store manager going out there and wondering, who's this guy, ringing a bell, trying to get money, and laying in front of on the sidewalk when he should be up and asking for donations, and probably threaten them or whatever, or call to the cops or whatever. So the guy gets the tripod that's holding up this kettle and starts attacking and trying to impale the manager with it. So, yeah, the charity worker, not very charitable. So, what do you think of that, guys?
I think they didn't vet their bell ringers very well.
No, I mean,
I hope that he was in a Santa suit and this was Christmas. That would have been really cool.
Bad Santa.
Merry Christmas, you filthy animal.
I saw mommy kissing an intoxicated Santa.
Yeah, it's like bad Santa, like you said, Josh.
Bad, or what is that? What is that? Violent Night.
Violent Night.
Yeah.
Maybe that was
drunk bell ringer.
Maybe they were just filming like the sequel of Violent Night. I don't know. Crazy.
But all I can think of right now is do you remember when Ezekiel Elliott made a touchdown and he jumped into the big Salvation Army?
Yes, I think he got fined like
Bucket.
$10,000 for that or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know why they
probably think
people do
it's
cool
worth
stuff, fun stuff that the audience actually wants to see, and then they get fined like $20,000. That's ridiculous.
Plus, you know what? They had it there in the end zone. And so, I mean, the temptation is already there. And it's like, you
I
know
mean,
what?
why else is it there? I mean, are they
So
throwing money in there?
yeah. And I could just see, he's in the huddle break. And he's like eyeing that as, you know what? If I make a touchdown, I'm doing it. They're
Yeah,
thinking that.
for sure.
Doing it.
For sure.
Wow.
All right. Let's move into the disgusting one, Josh.
Josh, why you?
To be fair, it's been all over the news. It's just pretty crazy.
It's been all over the news, and I haven't seen this one, I guess.
If you haven't heard about this, I don't know what you're doing.
It
Probably
kind of
not- am I-
replicates an old case that goes
Yeah.
way back.
All right.
Yep.
What you got,
Okay.
Josh?
Well, I got it, but Josh sent it to me, so I'm reading it on his behalf.
Okay.
Okay, this just happened in January. We're still in January 2026. Authorities in Pennsylvania arrested 34-year-old Jonathan Christian Gerlach for a massive grave robbery operation involving over 100 sets of human remains.
Oh.
So here's the details. Gerlach was apprehended January 6th while leaving Mount Moriah Cemetery. Now, when I first heard that, I was like, what? Mount Moriah Cemetery is in Deadwood, South Dakota. Is this happening in Deadwood, South Dakota? And then there must be a different Mount Moriah Cemetery because this is in Pennsylvania. But at first I was like, what the heck? Anyways, he was caught carrying a burlap bag containing 2 mummified children's remains, multiple skulls, and a crowbar. So the discovery, this is how it happened. Subsequent searches of his home in Ephrata, I don't know where, obviously Pennsylvania, and a local storage unit uncovered a scene described by prosecutors as a horror movie come to life. Good. So here's what they found. Over 100 human skulls, full or partial skeleton sets, decomposing torsos and mummified limbs, feet and hands, remains ranging from infants to adults, some dating back to over 200 years, and corpses reportedly hanging from the ceiling in his basement.
Oh.
Now listen to this. Here's his motivation, apparently. Now, he hasn't been convicted, so we have to say allegedly, but come on.
Wait,
motivation.
Come on,
Investigation into Gerlach's social media and financial records suggested he was part of an online community for skeleton collecting, and he was actively selling human remains on platforms like Facebook and Instagram.
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
Isn't that insane? And I was listening to Ninjas or Butterflies.
Are you talking like on Marketplace?
Yes. And on Instagram. He literally, let me see if I can pull up his Instagram real quick.
Wait a minute. And how in the world do you describe what he's trying to sell in the first place?
He did not like even try to cover it. I'm going to send you a picture right now. This is from his.
Oh my goodness!
I'll send it in the chat here. This is literally from his Instagram account. So hold on. Is there no chat? Oh, there's no chat. Okay. Anyways, there's literally just pictures of skulls, and it just says, okay, so his
making offer.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's like the picture. Where am I at? I have so many things open. So it just is a picture of a skull.
Right.
I'm not going to say the name of his Instagram handle because it's got a curse word in it, but it's just a picture of a skull. It says fresh inventory, serious buyers only, #oddities, #bone collector.
Goodness. I'm going to tell you
I'm like, you get flagged for a right-wing meme and you get put in Facebook jail, but you can sell dead body parts like on the internet. Like, what is the deal?
Yeah, well, I was just going to say, I remember one time we had like one of those Amish stars. Do we have one in here? Kind of like this, like a barn star that was made out of Wyoming license plates. Okay, some old license plates, and metal worker. Cut them and everything, and we had 2 of them, and we just needed one, so we were going to sell one. And I put that on Marketplace, and they flagged it because you can't put license plates, up on the. I was like, wait a minute. What about when people sell cars and they don't blur out the license plate or whatever? I'm like, you flagged that of a Amish barn star, made out of Wyoming plates, but yet you're telling me this now about bone collecting and everything? It's
Yeah.
whacked.
Yeah.
It's
I know.
wackadoo.
Or that
Oh,
people would even like sell or buy, or people would even buy human remains. Like they collect that. That's
unreal.
crazy. But so now he faces 500 criminal counts, including burglary, abuse of a corpse, uh, receiving stolen property, and desecration of venerated objects or historical burial places. Apparently, I think that this cemetery had gone into disrepair and had they weren't burying people there anymore, so it was kind of a historical thing. Maybe obviously there were some fresh ones. Maybe he didn't get them all from that
Ugh.
cemetery, but that's how they found him because apparently I was looking. The police received a tip because uh, an individual. Let's see. From an individual who knew someone that had seen a partially decomposed corpse hanging in his basement. Like, dude, if
Wait a minute,
you
how did they?
somebody was over at his house and saw it. I'm like, are you that stupid that you're just gonna leave a corpse hanging in your basement and say, "Yeah, come over, let's watch the game"? It's like, dude, what is
Goodness, like the Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah.
Oh,
So the police ended up tracking his phone and his vehicle, and it pinged off of the towers near Mount Moriah like 6 times between Halloween and Christmas, like
ah,
just a couple months ago. And so they caught him leaving Mount Moriah Cemetery carrying the bag and all that stuff I mentioned.
okay. So wait a
So
minute. What was he a grave digger or something for the cemetery, or I don't get it. Does it say anything about
and I don't
what
think
he
so.
did for a living or something?
I don't think so. I think he was I just looked up his occupation. Let's see.
Ah,
No, I mean that's part of how he made money was just selling stuff online, selling
that
bones online. That's crazy.
goodness.
I was watching Ninjas or Butterflies, and I love that podcast. So you guys should check him out. But they were talking about like this guy is like pretty tattooed like all over his body, and so uh, I mean we all have tattoos. We've been like talking. We talk to the people who tattoo us, and it's like you can talk about all kinds of things. But can you imagine like this guy? I don't know, just telling his tattoo artist like, "Hey, yeah, I'm really into like bone collecting and that kind of thing," and that guy's like, "Oh yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's pretty
Sweet, never
cool.
come back, please."
Oh,
He was described by acquaintances and media reports as a metalhead. Dang it! Now people are
well,
going
I
to
like it.
investigate
I
him.
like. Yeah. Anyway, wow,
Anyways,
wow,
oh
goodness. Well, okay. So then, have they set a trial or anything yet? Do you know?
yeah, I think it said January 20th is when he's set to first go to trial. Yep, his preliminary hearing is scheduled for January 20th, which was 2 days ago, I guess. So
So
I don't know.
this is in Pennsylvania, right?
Pennsylvania.
Okay, now wait a minute. So is there a connection? Because okay, so that cat was in Pennsylvania.
It turns out he's got like
That
400,000 lobsters in his other room downstairs.
no, that was Minnesota. But
Oh, okay.
there's
Like, what the
there's a connection. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. What was that? What was that? What was that movie? Disturbia. Do you remember Disturbia?
Yeah, I don't
The
remember
movie
it very well, but is that
Shia,
where he's
Shia what's his name? Shia LaBeouf.
Shia LaBeouf? Yeah.
And
Where he's looking at his neighbor, like trying to figure out if his
yeah,
neighbor's a serial killer.
yeah, whatever. And it's like everything kept coming out perfect and everything. And then one day, there's like bags and stuff. And he goes into that house, and I'm gonna have to pull that movie out and watch it again. I haven't seen that in a long time, but that's
A updated kind of thing that's similar to that you should watch if you haven't watched The Beast in Me on Netflix. That is incredible.
Are you Tom? It's on Netflix, right?
Yeah.
Well, Mom and I have have seen it sitting there, and they're like, she's like, "Well, do you want to see it?" I'm like, "I don't know." Caleb said it was good. What do you think?
If you can, I mean, if you can get past the inevitable little bit of woke stuff they introduce, it's okay. It's good. It's really good. The story's really good.
Oh, that might need to be our next watch. I don't know. We'll see.
So that was the disgusting one Josh gave me, but it does remind me. It reminds me of Ed Gein. Is that what you're talking about, Josh?
Yep. Ed Gein.
Yeah.
Goodness,
Yeah.
Josh. That's pretty
You know who
sick.
Ed Gein is, Dad?
I'm not too sure. Does he have like a nickname?
He was known as the Butcher of Plainfield,
He
or
kind of
the Plainfield Ghoul.
he was like the inspiration for the Texas Chainsaw
Oh, good night.
Massacre.
Yeah, that's right.
He would take the skin off of bodies and make
Dude, are you kidding me?
lampshades and different furniture
that's-
pieces.
And masks,
Yes, and masks.
which is why Leatherface got his name.
Good night, you guys. I can't watch that stuff.
You don't have to watch it. We're just telling you the truth. This was true.
I know, but
this
I'm
is
just
real.
saying that's just I'm trying to find there was I saw it in the news. Did they take it down already? That they somewhere back east, I think, in the south, there's they think they found another serial killer that he was a fisherman. Oh, where's it at? Looking in the news right now. It's been the last couple of days. They might have taken it down already, but this fisherman, an outdoorsman, backwoods guy, and everything would fit right into the looks of someone from Wyoming or South Dakota. And they showed a picture of him and everything, but he is, I guess, connected to. They're thinking he's connected to several different murders and everything. And gosh, I can't. Where did it go? I don't know. But anyway, look into that. Something about a fisherman serial killer, and that creeps me out because how many times have we gone fishing or you've gone fishing and you're out in the middle of nowhere, no one's around you, and you're fishing, and maybe you've come across somebody else that's fishing out there, and it's like, well, have you caught any? Yeah.
That's why you got to be packing heat these days.
Oh, anyway.
You're my catch. Gosh.
Good night.
Yeah. I don't know. That one was pretty crazy. I just don't know this day and age how people can go that long without being caught. I mean, especially if you're selling them on Instagram, like what in the world?
Yeah.
No one thought to be like, oh, we're just getting these bones.
But you know what though? You know what? There's a lot of arrogance to that. I'm just going to say this because, without disclosing where I worked before, but I mean, I used to work in a lockdown facility, working with inmates, and but some of them would, do some of their crimes just in, midday, was not at night, out in the middle of, town. Just the arrogance of it was like, you know what? Watch this. I can get away with it. Type of crime. Now, this whole murder, serial killer thing, or whatever. That right there, I'm sure there's a bit of arrogance to that. Going, yeah, watch this. I can do this, and you've heard of some of these serial killers that like will take trophies.
Yeah.
And or try to, well, I know, Caleb, one of your favorite movies is The Zodiac.
Yeah.
He would leave all these clues and do all these anyway, people that, that these wackadoos are,
well, not even I think about all the murderers who will go and like join the search investigations and be like,
oh yeah,
and they're in the search party, and it's like, what the heck? But
or
it's
you
like
hear
just
about you hear about them coming to the funeral and crying along with families and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You
Well, how
putting
many
on
times
show.
in like Criminal Minds, which I think is a lot of those are based off of
A
at
true
least
story.
partial, yeah, at least parts of them. But there's a lot of times where they set up sting operations at the funeral, like the graveside funerals, and then they see someone drive up or
Mm.
walk there, and they're like, "We got him."
Wow.
So yeah, people are weird, and it's the things they do for the thrill of it that you kind of it's just like any kind of addiction thing where it's like you got to go further and further to get the hit of dopamine, and it's no
Mm.
different with the murderers,
Yikes.
So, anyways, whew, that was a brutal one.
Yeah, thanks, Josh.
Sorry. Now I got to sleep with my lights on tonight. No.
That's right.
I gotta sleep. I gotta try and sleep, trying to wonder where those lobsters are.
we should solve that.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
we'll get all the money.
Maybe they'll have they're probably bad by now.
I mean, it'd be one thing if, like, all of a sudden, someone hijacked a truck of, like a Coors Light or something like that, and got the crates of beer, put them in a warehouse or whatever, and then sold you know, the beer or whatever. But how do you steal or hijack lobster, $400,000 worth, and then get rid of it? Unless you have a big freezer warehouse or something.
Or
But
less.
still, that's just kind of a unique item or unique thing to sell or get rid of on. Yeah, I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Unless a guy has an incredible, case of the munchies and he loves to eat lobster. I don't know.
Not me.
Yeah. Not my first choice.
Well, let's leave it there for this week. Next time we'll bring you another case and react to an actual, story where we do the dramatic reading and that kind of thing. And we're gonna be working on doing some segmentation of this podcast to get some fun, repeatable segments. So that'll be kind of fun for you guys to listen to. So, but for our first time back, we just wanted to bring it back and respond to some current news and maybe some news in the last couple of years. But we hope that you guys are having a great 2026. And thanks for joining us here on Sinisterum. And we will see you next time. Make sure you like, subscribe, and give us a comment if you want. Make sure it's nice. Don't be a jerk. We like to hear good comments on this channel because we're already talking about dark stuff. So make it nice. Or if you want to, if you're listening on Spotify, Apple Music, go give us a 5-star review because that helps us get our show out to other people. So thanks for listening. We hope you keep it weird, keep it spooky, keep it fun. Peace out.